Hello and welcome to the Gear Closet Reviews. So today we're taking a look at Crag Cards by Reference Ready. And if this video is too long and you didn't watch it, you should buy them. They rock. They're super inexpensive for a really handy, small, compact, lightweight, well done reference for your knots. So let's get into it. Alright, so let's imagine for a minute that you're leading your first pitch on a multi-pitch climb, the first time you've ever climbed multi-pitch. Right? You get to the top, you build your anchor, and your friend told you that you were supposed to clove hitch into the master point of the anchor to anchor yourself in. But you can't remember how to tie a clove hitch. So what do? Do you just use a sling? Maybe. Or do you reach into your back pocket and pull out your weathered copy of Freedom of the Hills? You know, you flip to page 143, and oh, there's a handy diagram on how to tie a clove hitch. No, probably don't have this in your back pocket, do you? Do you pull out your phone? Oh wait, there's no service. Your battery's dead. Well, that's no good. Maybe Crag Cards? You probably should have looked at them before you went up the climb. But let's say you just moved to Utah and you're super stoked on climbing, you're kind of new to it, you don't have many partners, and the partners you do have aren't as stoked to climb all the time like you are. So you decide to teach yourself to top rope solo. But you don't have anybody to buddy check you. Well, that was the inspiration for the Crag Cards. So Josh, who is the owner, designer, creator of the Crag Cards, back in 2016, he used his background in instructional and graphic design to make these, because he had that exact problem. Now Josh reached out to me and asked if I would do a review on these. So he sent these to me, full disclosure. But I think they're rather awesome. So first off, how big are these? Well, you can kind of see them in relation to my hands, but you don't know how big my hands are. So here's my American Alpine Club membership card. About the same size as a credit card, really. There you go. Well, it's credit card sized. And there's 5 of them in there, front and back. And in the package, you also get this little wire. So what you do is, if you want, thread it through the grommet that holds the cards together, twist it. Then you got a nice little loop. Should you want to clip it to something, you know, clip it to your harness, clip it to your bag. Yeah, nice little package. Nice that he included that. So what knots do they teach you? Well, there's 19 knots in here. And I think if you know the 19 knots that are on this card, I think you're good. I don't think you need to know any more than that. So what do you get? You get the overhand, the figure 8. And on the back of that, overhand on a bite, figure 8 on a bite. Well, that makes sense. Huh, somebody thought about this. And then munter hitch, figure 8 follow through, although hopefully, you know, you at least know how to tie that one. But maybe you're teaching somebody else, maybe a new climber. You just want a diagram to teach them. You got it. And then, let's see, on the back of that, we've got double overhand and a double fisherman. Well, you need to know how to tie that one to tie that one. That makes sense. And on the back, you got more joining knots. So you got your flat overhand for joining ropes on rappel. You got your water knot for joining webbing. And then we're into our hitches, friction hitches. So you got prusik, auto block, and then climb heist and Bachmann for ascending. And there's your clove hitch, your girth hitch. And finally, you get your bunny ears, figure 8 for fixing a static line or building an anchor. And finally, your double Bowline and alpine butterfly. The only two things that I can think of that weren't in here that I think maybe should have been in here are a Munter-Mueller overhand for self-rescue purposes and a carabiner brake, how to build a carabiner brake. Although that's not, that's bordering on whether that's a knot or not, but no pun intended. I think it's way better for rappelling than, say, the Munter hitch. So if this is meant as kind of like an emergency reference card that you have with you, I think that should be something that might consider putting in there. But overall, it's really well organized, and the instructions are really clear. And I think that's handy, and that's how I use it. I've been climbing for a long time. I know all these knots. But in the week since I've had it, I did bring it with me to a anchor building course that I was teaching with the American Alpine Club. And I used it if a student was having a little bit of difficulty with a knot and my explanation wasn't cutting it, I could use these to help me out. Now, and that's one of the things that I love about it. It's very clear, very concise. The drawings are kind of pretty self-explanatory, just like you'd want. And to kind of demonstrate this, Josh, along with the Crag Cards, sent me this, one of his other products, which is Wild Cards. So this is more for like survival, backpacking, those kind of knots. They also do a nautical one, for like sailing, called Nauta Knots, or Nauta Cards. Sorry, Nauta Cards. But I'm gonna go through here. A lot of these I have no idea. I have not used these knots. And I'm gonna find one. We'll do this one. Bowline on a bite. I've never tied a bowline on a bite in my life. But we're gonna see if from this card and Josh's instructions and drawings I can tie one. So take a bite, make a loop, and then you pass bite, and bite goes over. Is that it? Oh, that's a bowline. Huh. Cool. All right. Well, there's a bowline on a bite. That's my first time ever tying one, but makes it pretty easy to figure out. Now, the only other thing that I can think of maybe might be a concern is durability. These are, they feel super sturdy. They're nice and stiff, and they already have some scratches on them though. They don't really, you can still read it, but I think over time, especially if you're taking these to the crag with you, you get dirt in there and might scratch them up. But time will tell. The credit cards in my wallet seem to hold up, just fine. So I think these will do just fine. I don't think it's going to be too much of a concern. But really, in conclusion, these things are awesome. And for less than $7, I think this is something that pretty much any climber should go out and get, whether to use it for teaching. If you're a new climber, this is a great reference to have versus having to dig through a big book like this. If you just want to learn the knots that really you need to know, and only those, this has got it. So finally, I want to encourage you to support the American Alpine Club, the Access Fund, and your local climbing organizations. They're doing the hard work to ensure the future of our sport. They keep our crags clean, safe, and open. So you'll find a link down in the description below, both to Reference Ready, their website, along with the Amazon page where they sell these, and also to the American Alpine Club and the Access Fund. You have to do your own research on who your local climbing organization is. For me, it's Allied Climbers of San Diego. They do a lot of awesome work. Now, we got some products here that I'm going to have reviews coming up on. The awesome Neelico nut tool. The best, cheapest brush for somebody who doesn't actually brush climbing holds. And static climbing chalk bag. So if you like what you see and you want to see more, click up here to subscribe to the channel. Right down here is going to be the latest video.